may not know him, okay? But even if you don't know him, we're going to introduce him. So we invited Garv back with us today. So Garv, if you're not sure who he is, he was from MayFlower last year. So he took PSLE last year. He was from 6 Respect 2018. Okay? So he's here actually today to share with you his PSLE journey last year. Okay, so his focus is also on how he set his goals, how he achieved them, and he hopes that he can inspire some of you to follow in his journey. Okay? So as you're listening to Garv share, okay, you can feel free to take down some questions that you're going to ask him. He has a Q&A session at the end. Okay, so while he's sharing, please listen to him attentively. Okay, don't interrupt him while he's speaking. Okay? So the teacher shouldn't have to stand up and go to any of you to ask you to quieten down. Okay? So show Garv the respect that he deserves, because he took time out to come back and share with you, because he wants you to learn from him. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so can we give Garv a round of applause?
So thank you everybody for inviting me back to MayFlower. Now firstly I would like to greet all the teachers present over here. Good afternoon, teachers and my fellow friends. Today I'm here to share with you about my PSLE journey and how I achieved my goal of getting into Raffles. Now before I start, first I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all my teachers, Mrs. Lim, and principals, Mrs. Lim, Madam Tila, and my parents for mentoring me, guiding me, and believing in me, and that's the reason why I'm standing over here. Now with the slides I prepared today, I want all of you to have this hope that if I can do it, then all of you can surely do it. So what is today's agenda? I'll be telling you about what are goals, what is the importance of setting your goals for PSLE, how should you set these goals, how should you plan the work and work the plan, and all the do's and don'ts for PSLE. And the second last component will be a question and answer session, followed by something special for all of you. So every success story starts with a dream, and any dream without a date is a wish. If you add a date to this dream, it becomes a goal. What is a dream? A dream is what we want to achieve, and a date is where we want to achieve it. So if you combine both of them together, it becomes your goal that you want to achieve. For example, I say that I want to get admission into XYZ school in secondary 1 on 2nd Jan 2020. This is for you. So this is a goal because it has a dream, what you want to achieve, and it has a date by when you want to achieve. Goals give us direction and motivation to be successful in all aspects of life. So when I set my goal last year, it gave me some motivation to achieve my goal of getting into Raffles, and my goal actually came true. So for PSLE, you guys should set your goals in order to get into your dream schools. On 2nd January 2020. What are the importances of setting goals? Firstly, when I set my goal, it made me disciplined and focused so that I could get into my dream school. So when you set your goals, you should not be distracted by any distractions, and you should always remain focused when you're studying or during lessons. Secondly, goals help us in identifying and overcoming our shortcoming, weaknesses, so we can put in more effort to that. So last year, when I set my goal of getting 4 A stars with a T-score of 289, I used to do like 4 to 5 papers every week for each subject. And when I did this, at first I used to make many mistakes in the papers, but by the goal I set, it gave me some benchmark for me to compare myself with, and I revised my mistakes consistently every day, and thus by putting in more effort, I achieved my goal of getting into Raffles. And thirdly, goals constantly remind us of our dream. So when I set my goal, I did not forget of my dream because I had written it down and pasted it everywhere in my house. Like I pasted it in the toilets, in my study, and in the prayer room. So I never forgot about my dream, and this is what drove me to achieve it. So how should you set your PSLE goals? Firstly, you should identify your school that you want to get into, and if you have not, I hope that you would do so after today's education fair talk. Secondly, you should go online and search for the T-scores of that school that you want to get into. You should write down that goal as a mission statement that you want to achieve it no matter what. And you should write your goal yourself, and you should not type it out, because if you write it, you will be constantly reminded of your dream. Fifthly, the goal has to be written in present tense, as if it has already happened. So a sample goal would be, my PSLE score is NNN, and I have gotten into XXX school in Set 1 on 2nd Jan 2020. I am very excited about this. And my individual subject score is, for math, A star, it should be 100 out of 100, science, A star, 98 out of 100, English, A star, 92 out of 100, and mother tongue, A star, 92 out of 100. And you should make multiple copies of the statement and paste it everywhere wherever you can, so that you can see it on a daily basis. The more you see it, the more you visualize it, the better it will be. So you should start believing in your goal from today, right away. So what's next after setting PSLE goals? Once you set your goal, share it with your teachers and parents so that they are aware of your goals. It is very important to do so, as they are your first support pillars in achieving your goals. The more you share it with them, the better it will be, as they will be able to guide you and correct you whenever you need help. Now, how should you plan the work? Firstly, you should make daily, weekly, and monthly timetables for each subject, and identify what you are going to do in the coming week or day. For each day in a week, identify time slots, let's say from 4 p.m. till 10 p.m. and exclude your dinner time. Divide and allocate equal time to each subject. Ensure qualitative learning is done before you go on to look for quantity. And you should ensure that qualitative learning is done for each subject every single day. This is my belief to get 4 A stars and to achieve your goal. Moreover, you should fill up all time slots for the whole week and whole month, so that you do not sway away from your goal. You should paste the timetable at your study area where you can see it easily every day. And align the table with the CA1, SA1, etc. exams. This will help you to measure the progress of your goals and help identifying the areas where you need improvement or need more time. You should adjust your plan accordingly based on your weaknesses in each subject. This is what I did last year. So in the following slides, I'll show you a few examples of my timetables. So what I did was, like, my English was not so good. So I used to, although you allocate equal time to all subjects, this is not compulsory. You should allocate the time based on your weaknesses and strengths in each subject. So since my English was not so good, I allocated more time in English compared to maths, science, and Hindi, my mother tongue. So each day I used to work more on English, and this is how I was able to improve, and by following the timetable, my scores boosted. And lastly, as I've said before, you should share the plans with your parents and siblings so that they are also aware and they support you. And they like provide a conducive environment at home for you to achieve your goals and dreams. Working the plan. You should start the work immediately as per the timetable. So what I did was, after setting my timetable on Monday morning, I did everything in the timetable I completed everything in the timetable on Monday and set a new timetable that night for the following day. So basically I just followed my timetable every day and did the work immediately as per the timetable. As I've said before, you should follow the timetable diligently so that you do not sway away from your goal, and so that you do not sway away from your goal. Moreover, you should not procrastinate or leave anything for the next day if you can do it today. So what I used to do, because I used to procrastinate a lot, and this was one of my and whatever homework I used to receive from my teachers, if it was due 1 week later, I will complete it the day just before submission, and this would affect my timetable, and it would affect my timetable. So do not worry if you're not able to follow the plan completely. You will get better at it if you follow it consistently and conscientiously make effort. If you still are not able to complete your targets every day, you should ask help from your parents and teachers, because consistency is the key to success. So what is the strategy to achieve your PSLE goal? So what I did was, I did content learning every week before going on to papers. So I used to do content learning of topics in maths and science. So you guys would have new topics in maths and science in P6, and it is better to do content learning rather than doing papers at first, because there's no point of doing papers without actually knowing all the concepts and all the concepts of the topics that you learn. Once you feel that you have done sufficient content learning, you should go on to doing practice papers. So what I did was to do one practice paper for each subject every day in a week. For maths, I used to do booklet A on day 1 and paper 1 on day 1 and paper 2 on day 2. And for science also I did the same. But for your languages, you should do at least one paper every day. And when you're doing papers, do not look for quantity. First look for quality, look for quality and consistency. Because once these two things are in place, the following thing will automatically fall in place. So after doing practice papers, I gave it to my mom to mark, and I sat down with her and identified whatever mistakes I made. My mom is over there.
Hello.
Yeah, so I identified the mistakes, and whatever mistakes I made, if I felt that my concept in that topic was not clear, I went back to doing content learning, and again I did practice papers. However, if my mistakes were careless, then if I had some doubts, I would just clarify them with my parents and teachers and write them down in notebooks. Firstly, you should not hesitate to communicate even for smaller doubts with your parents and teachers, because they are the ones who will guide you and help you achieve your goal. After that, you should note down the answers to the doubts in different notebooks for each subject and revise at least once a week. Once you have done revision of your doubts, you should go back to doing assessment books which have topical questions and revise and do similar questions from these books. Then, if you still feel that you still need improvement, then go back to content learning, and then this cycle follows. So this is what I did to achieve my goal, and I'm sure that if all of you do it, even you will achieve your goals. So now let's go on to the time management formula for English, Maths and Mother tongue only. This is not for science. We should always use a timer when attempting papers. This is a thumb rule. This is the first thumb rule. Second thumb rule is 1 mark is equals to 1 minute. So it means that if a grammar question is worth 1 mark, you should spend at max 1 minute on that question, which includes solving and revision of that question. So, example is if your comprehension clause is 15 marks, right? So you should allocate 15 minutes to it for attempting all questions, all blanks, and revision of the entire passage. And synthesis and transformation is 10 minutes, 10 marks. So you should spend 10 minutes on it for attempting and revision of questions. And now this is the time management formula for science only. Booklet A is 28 times 2, 56 marks. However, if you spend 56 marks on booklet A, you will have 2 less time to do booklet B. So there are 28 questions, and you should spend at least 30 minutes, at max 30 minutes to attempt all the questions, and 10 minutes and plus another 10 minutes to revise them. This is what I did, and this helped me to save a lot of time whenever I used to do papers, because at first I used to take about 1 hour to complete just booklet A, and I left with 2 less time to do booklet B, and my scores were not very good at first. Secondly, to make revision easier, you can make 7 sets of 4 questions. This gives you 28 questions. So after doing the first set of questions, you can go, you revise those 4 questions, then go on to the next 4. After revising, go on to the next 4. So this is how I did my PSLE, and it helps a lot. You save a lot of time to do booklet A. And booklet B is 44 marks. So, and one question may have multiple parts. So you need more time to answer one question. This is what I did, and this is what I did last year, because booklet B has questions like the answers to booklet B questions. Sometimes it can be extremely long-winded, and we need more time for each question. So I spent 40 minutes on booklet A, and the rest 1 hour 5 minutes for revision and attempting booklet B. So this helps a lot, as you have enough time to revise and attempt all questions in booklet B, and there is no scope for you to lose marks into unattempted questions. So what are the do's and don'ts for PSLE? Do's. You should set goals for CA1, SA1 and prelims, etc. The checkpoint, you should have checkpoints to monitor your progress. Secondly, you should communicate and meet your teachers regularly for feedback and areas of improvement. You should never give up on your goals. At many occasions, although I did miss my goal, but constant communication and feedback from teachers helped me to improve. So last year, in my prelims, my aim was to achieve above 87 marks for booklet A, paper 2, above 35 marks for composition, 15 marks for situational writing, full marks for LC and oral. Although I did achieve above 87 marks for English paper 2, I did not fare my compo very well, and I ended up failing it. So this caused my entire score to drop down. However, I did not give up and I continued persevering. And on the day of the PSLE, I wrote an 11-page composition. And these goals actually help you and these timetables and goals actually help you along. Lastly, all of you must visit your dream schools during the open houses to get a feeling of how it feels to be in that school. So I attended the open house of Raffles last year, and its infrastructure, especially its library and the courses offered and CCAs offered, they intrigued me a lot, and on that day itself I knew that Raffles was the school I wanted to go in. So that was the only school I visited for the open house. So during the May holidays, you should all visit your school, visit your dream school. There is nothing new in PSL. There is nothing new this year, which means no thing. Your friends or relatives may laugh at you and your goals or discourage you. Like my goal was to achieve 289, and some of my friends, they used to jeer at me that achieving 289 is impossible and you will not even achieve above 240. Because they thought that the prelims were very poor. Yeah. So you should not. So I gave a deaf ear to them, and I did not take it personally. So you should not listen to them and just focus on your goals. By doing this, you will not get distracted, and you will continue to remain focused. Secondly, you should not get bogged down or get overconfident with your CA1 or SA1 exam results. Follow your timetable and keep looking at it and keep looking at your goals. Remember, consistency and commitment to your goals are the key. You must do practice papers consistently, and you must commit yourselves to your teachers and this will help you to attain success. So this is, as you can see, is a triangle, and what I call it is my success triangle. So at the 3 vertices, then the apex vertex is me, I, and the bottom 2 are my parents and my teachers, and the arrows between them symbolize communication. So my parents, my teachers, and I were constantly communicating with each other throughout my PSLE journey, and we did not break the triangle, because what happens if you break your and this is what led to my success. What happens if you break your triangle? Now, what happens if you break your triangle and you yourself are not the triangle? This usually happens when you stop communicating with your parents and teachers and don't tell them about where you need improvement. So your success will slowly drop, and it will lead to your eventual unaccomplished goal. So when your goal is unaccomplished, you will feel disappointed, and you will no longer be encouraged to achieve your goals in PSLE. So this is how I wrote and pasted my goal on my bedroom door. So as you can see on the top one, the Raffles school crest is on the top left, and I sort of mimic the PSLE result certificate, and I wrote a specific goal that my T score is 289, and I've gotten admission into RI in Sec 1 on 2nd Jan 2019. It has a date, and it had my grade. It also had my individual subject score for each subject, as you can see. And below is the same thing, where I mimicked my PhD certificate and wrote down my grade in each subject. Now as you can see over here, I forgot to write my T score. So what happened? In my PSLE I achieved 4 A stars, but I did not achieve 289. Yeah, I got 266. But I still didn't like. So every night, like before sleeping, I used to write down my goal in a goal booklet that I made, and I spoke it out every morning after showering. So this constantly reminded me of my goals, and I did not get distracted easily. So what I wrote and spoke and believed has really happened. So this is in my study room. As you can see, this is the school's crest I got from the open house. I also got this frisbee from the open house, and this is my goal and the school I wanted to get into. And like all of you received the A-OK booklets, right? So using the stickers, I made the RI sign on this on my study. So this is my timetable. So like, as you can see, I've color coded it to make it more interesting, and this is what made me look at my timetable every day and follow it consistently. So science, so even when you are setting your timetables, you can the same thing, you can color code it to make it much more interesting and exciting to look at it every day. I did not write my timetable for Saturday and Sunday because since it is a holiday, and both of my parents were at home. It was quite subjective, as I used to do my work based on my progress of that week. So let's say that in the first week of term 2, my grades in the English practice paper have gone down. So what I used to do was on Saturdays and Sundays, I used to practice questions of that topic. So let's say my grammar was poor, and then on these 2 days I used to practice my grammar with my mom from grammar books and did revision. So Saturdays and Sundays were set aside for revision of your mistakes, of your doubts, and you should always go through your notes on these days, as both your parents will be at home and they will be able to judge and see your progress. So now it's time for the question and answer session. Anyone wants to ask any questions? Yes.
How's Raffles Institution like?
It's difficult to say because firstly it's very big, it's exciting, and there are a whole set of there are a lot of CCAs offered, and the curriculum offered is quite unique and exquisite. So if you get into a top school, the CCAs offered, the CCAs that you get will be more, and you have a choice to pick your subjects in year 3. Yes. It's not. Yeah.
As Garv having a question or the question.
Exposed to new subjects and new topics, so it takes time to grasp and get the fundamental. By setting these daily timetables, I have been improving, but my standards have dropped a bit. Yeah. Yes. So, firstly, Raffles Institution is a attended guys, please quiet me down. Yeah, I attended when I attended the open house, I went for the classroom for a classroom experience that they had, a classroom experience session that they had, and like they told us of all the subjects offered, and like at first I found it a bit like frightened and nervous to have 8 subjects, but like, and at first I thought that Raffles was not the school I wanted to go to, and I attended that classroom experience. But when I went for the school tour, I saw the library, like our school has 2 libraries, so I saw both of them, and after seeing all the CCAs offered that no other school had, I felt like quite intrigued, as I said before, and excited to join that school. So, yeah, that's how I felt. I mean, cricket. Yes. Okay, so like, I did have some distractions. Sometimes after going home, like I used to waste time in reading books or playing on my iPad. But like as I told before, I told my goals. I shared my goals with my parents and teachers. And like whenever I used to play, they were the ones who used to tell me that, girl, you have to achieve your goal. And if you waste time on playing on iPads, you will never be able to get into levels. It should be sensible, because like there's no point of let's say I was good in maths, so there's no point of me studying maths every day, like studying maths for a longer time than my weaker subjects like English every day. So the goals should be sensible, like you should give more time on your weaker subjects so that you can boost up your scores in that subject. Yeah. Yes.
Are the facilities clean over there?
What?
Like, this might seem a bit silly, but do they have clean toilets?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, does the house smell clean?
Now, Jill, I just want to tell you that I want all of you to ask questions related to this and not about my school.